Hey guys, welcome to the POG podcast. Our first special, I would call this a special edition episode of the podcast.
Can you guess what we're talking about?
Where we're talking about this indie film called Star Trek. It's called Star Trek Beyond.
The title is above you or below you, however YouTube practices.
Below you.
Yeah, if you can't tell, no. This guy has it right with this shirt, but we're talking about Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which has now come out. It's come out. It's broke every film record thus far.
Has not yet. Not yet. It is projected to break every single.
What hasn't it broke?
It has not broken anything. Well, it broke initial sales. It broke at Thursday preview sales.
It broke
and
Friday, right?
Sales. Yeah, and broke Friday sales. However, it is projected today. We were filming this on a Saturday, December 20th.
So
it is projected to break a shit ton of records, but it has not yet.
It's not yet, but it's probably hopefully going to.
Box Office Mojo has it as the #1 weekend release movie right now.
And it's projected to clear 37 million. I believe is because I was looking it up on the way over here. Actually.
And I was looking, I think like it said the grand total with that and international is expected 517 million total.
Oh my god, that doesn't surprise me though.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, but hopefully it finally beats out Avatar. It's about time Avatar got toppled in terms of record breaking.
Well, Avatar 2's coming out. So,
I know. The Avatar 2's gonna blow that out of the water.
Are we doing the I'm Matt thing?
Yeah, we should do.
Let's go around.
Should do that.
I'm Alex.
I'm Wilden.
I'm Zoe.
I'm Matt.
And here we go.
Here we go. So this will be a spoiled. So if you haven't seen it by then, which you probably should have.
Actually, I had an idea for this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this episode's filled with spoilers.
Yes.
So if you don't want to be spoiled, there's gonna be a little hyperlink. Okay, so click it. That's our joke.
Yeah.
Basically, don't watch this video at all.
Yeah, don't watch this. It's full spoiler. We're going to somewhat heavy discussion about opinions and everything on what's going on. So just to be forewarned, watch the film first, if not see at least twice.
If you don't care about spoilers, watch us.
And you want to see whether it's worth.
Watch us, and then watch a film and look at new light. So.
But again, this is an opinion from a bunch of film students and people within a film society.
Hey, check yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a film student.
No, okay, what I'm saying is like we're in a film society. We're all in a film society together, and we all have our whole opinions on film.
Okay, so I figured we start off this. We'll go around, give a quick, simple answer, like a quick review, whether things like good or great or bad or terrible. And then we could go around and maybe talk about each of the three main characters, and then talk
about our experiences.
Yeah,
with
talk about experiences.
We can talk about your experiences.
What we thought of the overall film, how it fits in, future
wants to go. We'll
predictions of future episodes. And goodness sakes, if I don't hit Matt and let him go, he's going to explode. So Matt, go.
It's okay. Kidding. No, I grew up watching a shit ton of Star Wars. That was like one of the first like actual trilogy films I ever watched. I just want to throw that out there really quickly. So I had a really close connection with the original 3 films. And while I cannot say that Star Wars: The Force Awakens lived up to the hype that it had, because it was an unlivable amount of hype. Mm-hmm. That movie would have needed to be shot in gold to have lived up to the amount of hype it had. That's not to say that it didn't let me down at all, because it did not let me down. It soared and exceeded expectations in almost every single part of that film, and I'll get into that in a second. But the one-word review I will say is just watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I can't... There's no other way for me to describe it. If you're a fan of the series, watch. If you're not a fan of the series, watch. If you've never seen the series before, watch. If you're
good input.
Just watch.
It gives you a whole idea of what happened before. It gives you inputs on that.
It touches back on previous characters.
But if you don't know the previous characters as well as any others, you have these new characters to hold on to.
And they're very well written, even in the case of like certain characters that are only in screen for like 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. They're still incredibly well written to the point where like you get their character.
I have an opinion on that. If you want. Like,
that's fine. That's fine.
No,
But
all right,
my one word opinion: watch. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, with that, I just feel like personally, I felt that they didn't give you enough. Like, you didn't care as much for the characters as I did for the original. Maybe that's just like personally, I felt that the whole thing with Rey and how she was waiting for somebody on like back at home. I think they should have gave you more of a here's what she's waiting for instead of like they really didn't say what, and I kind of felt like that was kind of holding you back from being able to understand her as a person.
Before you continue on with that though, I want to ask really quickly, and before we get to that, what did you feel about Finn and Poe?
Finn and Poe, I liked Finn, and I felt Poe left too early, and when he came back, it was kind of anticlimactic. And like, I felt like it was cool. Like, you're like, hey, there's the guy, but then it was just like...
I mean,
there's the guy. He shot down 5 fucking TIE fighters.
Yeah,
it's out of my language.
Okay.
How's that anticlimactic?
Okay, but what I'm saying is...
When you watched it, though, like, you knew he didn't just die. Like, it wasn't...
It's Oscar Isaac. Come on.
No, like, he wasn't about to just die and disappear forever. No, like, I was expecting him to come back.
What they should have done, what I feel like what J.J. Abrams should have done was give you more of a hint that he was alive. Because he kind of like killed it off too quickly, or you're just like, did he just...
You actually... But I don't know if it's supposed to be him. But at one point, when a TIE Fighter crashes, you see a guy who looks an awful lot like Poe running towards one of the cockpits of the TIE Fighter that crashes on Jakku.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's how because I want to go back and check it because I might be wrong, and people will tear me apart in the comments when we get actually viewers. Will tear us apart in the comments saying that Matt's wrong. Yeah, but I'm almost 99% positive because I pointed it out. I was watching it with a couple people, and I saw somebody running towards one of the TIE fighters that they knocked down when they're escaping with the Millennium Falcon, which makes a return, by the way. If you haven't noticed, on Jakku. Somebody's running towards one of the cockpits of the TIE Fighter, and it's a split-second shot, and maybe I even...
Was it when that girl was like, hey, look at the... And like when the thing goes down? Okay.
I think it's like the first TIE Fighter that goes down. I mean, it's literally a quick shot, and you just see somebody running. And I was like, who would be running in the middle of all these like down Star Destroyers? And then I sat and I was like, well, we never saw Poe die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, maybe it was Poe.
But it
and so hypothetically, I was like, well, how did he get off Jakku? Then I started connecting. I was like, well, how would he have gotten off Jakku in the first place? And I was like, well, maybe he got down to one of the broken down TIE fighters that didn't sink into sand inexplicably, and get it working again.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the like I was bringing out earlier. It's one of the things. He's the first character we're introduced to in this whole thing.
For them to kill him off like that,
for them, he's gone 45 minutes.
He was. I was like,
didn't just come back. You know.
To tie it back, 1-word review. Go.
1-word review. Worth it.
Worth it.
Okay.
2 words, but like that.
Worth it.
All right. Zoe, you want to give your?
Well, I finally thought about something that I could actually talk about.
Oh yeah.
But okay, well, for me, like I hadn't seen any of the Star Wars movies until this year, 2015. This year, I saw 4, 5, and 6, and I missed the ending of 6. Okay. But I was still excited by like even watching like the previews for 7, like that even like still got to me like and got me hyped for it. But like it was interesting to me like with like having a female character in it and seeing how they would like use her, and one of the scenes just made me so happy, you know, where like Finn's about to run over to her to help her, and then she just kicks those guys' asses.
Yeah,
and I was about to get, I was sitting there, and I was about to get so pissed off, like if he had to go over there and help her, and I was about to be like, no, this it would ruin the entire thing for me.
Yeah,
it would ruin her character for me.
Yeah.
But doing that, like she was awesome. Like she was a really, really great female character, and it was really, really great to see that in a movie that reaches so many people,
especially a big, larger male audience.
To me, even though the movie was so nostalgic, and I think if you hadn't seen any of the other movies, it would have taken away a lot of,
because they did give a lot of little hints to
it really did, but I think overall as a movie, like it was a good movie. I mean, it was, even with all that stuff, I mean, it did have its own story, even though there are very, very, very large parallels you can draw to every single one of the other movies.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
But it pretty much A New Hope.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's.
But it didn't do it in a way that like made it like it wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a bad movie at all.
It treaded the fine line between paying homage and blatantly ripping off. It's a very fine line, and in my opinion, it did it.
And that's what
some people argued like it was too heavy. Like I read some reviews. Some people argued it was too.
There
heavy,
were certain scenes like the chessboard that was a little too focused, but the point of it was it was kind of supposed to be a rehash of New Hope. That's what the goal of it was like rehash of New Hope to get us and new viewers introduced back into the world, and then from here on out, like I think I'm pretty confident that after this movie, everything else is gonna be new. Like this is supposed to be somewhat rehashed and expected that way.
I would be incredibly pissed off if they froze Poe Dameron in carbonite and then went to Baju's palace on Jakku to save him. That would be. Oh God, I get it, and I get that, and that's why I think it's an homage because they had enough different, but they still paid. When I say they paid the old fans, you know. It
succeeded in what it was supposed to do.
There's a shit ton of fan service, but yeah.
I have two questions. And one of them, so this was a question I was asked the other day. And the question was, who do you think is the main character of this movie?
Okay, speaking of main characters, that's a good intro. I think we should talk about each character one at a time and in specific detail figure out from there. So let's start off with
who's your favorite character? Yeah. Who is everybody's favorite?
Okay. Kylo Ren.
Han Solo.
Kylo Ren, Han Solo.
Right. Well, I do like BB-8 though.
Finn.
You were
okay.
So that's a good way to start.
Okay, but Finn's the first one of the big three. That's still an argument too of who the big three are because I've heard back and forth between Poe and Kylo Ren being the third one.
I know who they set up to be the big three, but I'd still say Kylo Ren had a more impact in the story.
I think than Poe did. All right, so let's start off with Finn because he's like the first of the main three we've seen. What did we think of Finn overall as a character? And
overall as a character, I guess I'll start. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Finn as a character for me, out of all three, seemed A, the most fleshed out, and B, with the most. I was able to connect to him a lot more than any of the other characters in the entire film. That includes Han Solo. That includes Rey, Poe, anybody, because at his core, yes. Finn has that combat experience. Yes, Finn was a stormtrooper. Yes, Finn had kind of a heel-face turn that was very immediate, but it worked with the story, and it worked with the fact they only had 2 hours and 15 minutes to play with. And it was something that I was able to believe that actually, like, I was like, if I was in that situation, no shit, I'd heel-face turn. No shit, I'd fire on my own comrades to escape. No shit, I'd be scared for my life in that situation. So I understood it, but he was, in my opinion, he was the audience surrogate. He was the one that everybody can, whether or not you liked him the most, he's the one that everybody can kind of relate to.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is, you were saying that you really enjoyed Rey.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make that assumption that you related to Rey probably more than anybody else in that film.
Yeah. But
that's not...
Well, let's stick with... I guess we should stick with Finn.
Let's stick with Finn then for a second. But at the same time, the other thing is he was the everyman in that situation. He's not a Jedi. He's not Force sensitive. He was literally doing what he thought was right in all the situations.
Do we know that for sure though? Do we know that he's not Force sensitive?
Okay, yes. I do not. I will make the assumption that he is not Force sensitive.
Okay.
And it is based on the fact that every single time he had his hands on a lightsaber, which nobody but Jedis have had their hands on lightsabers before, in any of the, as far as I'm aware, any of the accepted canon. I would say accepted canon because Star Wars Legends had multiple different things, but every single time, the reason I loved him and my favorite parts of the movie were every single time he picked up a lightsaber, it was not because he knew he could take down anybody. He knew that it was the best weapon for the situation. It was because A, it was the right thing to do, and B, he was doing it to protect somebody else. Which, in my opinion, makes him a very, very relatable character because what a lot of people would have probably tried to do in that situation if we were brave enough and strong enough to kind of do what he was doing. Like, he picked up a lightsaber and faced down what in all effects is a Sith Knight, like a Jedi Knight. Like, knowing he was going to probably die, but he still did it because he was trying to protect Rey, which there's that budding romance that they kind of played into it a little bit. Yeah. He knows that this is a bad, like, when they're on, I forget the planet that Maz was on.
The
planet that Maz was on. He knows that this is, like, not the smartest thing to do, but you know what? He still did what he thought was right, and he was trying to find Rey, and he picked up that lightsaber and faced down, as somebody in our little group called it, TR-8R, Traitor.
Yeah.
Which I think is an awesome name for that little minor character. I want to.
Yeah, speaking of which, that guy, that one the one Stormtrooper traitor guy, he might be my favorite character, honestly, because he had a pistol and a shield, and he drops them both and pulls out this sword thing and starts beating the shit out of them.
Like an electro. It was great. I related with Finn the most because it was like, if I was in that situation, that is who I would want to be. I don't need to be the Jedi Knight. I don't need to be the expert pilot. I know I'm not either of those things, but I want to be the guy that does the right things at the right time.
So do you agree with that? Because there was that point where he was like, "I'm getting the hell out of here. We can't face these people."
He had his to steal TV trips. He had his heroic blue screen of death. He realized the situation was too grim. But the thing that changes him from just being a character who exited halfway through the movie to him being my favorite character was the fact that he realized what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
And he turned around and did what was right. You know what I mean?
All right, Zoe, what did you think of Finn?
I liked Finn, and he reminded me of someone we all know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
about.
Did we?
What? Oh, he reminded me a ton of Namdi.
Yeah, Namdi. Okay. It's literally Namdi, really, pretty much.
No, but I think I liked Finn a lot. I think he was a cool character, and it was cool. It was cool, like, seeing him, like, a stormtrooper who was just raised, like, from birth or whatever, as far as we know, like, to do all these things, and then him finding, like, no, I don't want to do this. And then him, like, setting out on his own, like, quest, like, having no clue, no plan, no anything, and, like, doing all this shit, and, like, yeah, to me, I mean, he was a really good character. He was a well-thought-out character. And I think he shows definitely that he cares a lot about other people, and stuff. I thought, although, like, looking at him as a main character in the action, I feel like he was left out of a lot of the action and a lot of, like, the main parts that happen in the movie, although some of the main parts really have to do with previous characters and tying them into the new universe.
Or I believe I'll probably say J.J. Abrams' favorite character was Rey. And a lot of the times when Finn would step in, he'd get knocked aside pretty easily because he's up against kind of extraordinary odds, and it'd be more for the characters who are up for the task, which is Han Solo and Rey, I believe, and Chewie to a lesser extent, and Poe. Finn didn't really do much, did he?
No, he really didn't. Honestly,
damn.
Honestly, he didn't.
He shit kicked
but
out
I mean,
of him a lot.
that doesn't mean he's a bad character at all. Like he's developed. He's developed very well. But I think you definitely really could argue that he wasn't the main character. I feel he could be even like a side character who we just see like maybe from his view, but that's not like he's just like sitting around like watching stuff happen.
Yeah. All right. That kind of goes on. I got a few things to say about him. First off, like, just in general, like, the casting, like, all the actors I thought were great in the film, definitely. All for their parts, especially, for him, Finn. It was interesting because some people were kind of going against the fact that I heard initially they were like, it's like, well, how did Finn, like a stormtrooper was trained for all those years to, like, kill people and stuff, and then it's like, how come all of a sudden, like, after all those years of expert in training killing people, he's, like, on his first mission, why does he hesitate at all? But then I was like, well, you gotta admit, he even said in the movie, he was, like, a janitor before. Like, nothing prepares you for that. What I liked about it, too, was that also, there was a humanization to the stormtroopers, which I never really felt before. I mean, we had the clones and all that, and they had personalities.
He's also a very modern character.
Yeah, he was very modern, and he did get pushed aside a little bit, especially towards the end of what I think is good. I mean, I'll wait for my predictions, the prediction section, to tell what I think is going to happen with him. But like the whole thing of like with him and Phasma, and even like. The thing with, like, him and Poe, I felt like I liked them two together, even though, like, they didn't know each other, just that quick immediacy. I kind of liked it.
Their bromance in 10 minutes was more well-written. I believe somebody said this, more well-written than Anakin and Obi-Wan's bromance.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it was.
Freaking movies.
Yeah, and and I love the scene, especially the scene with him and BB-8 where they're on the Falcon. And because he lies about being part of resistance, and then when he does that flame thing, that's my favorite moment of the movie. I think. God. Oh my god, I died. And yeah, it's one of those things. I think he's now gonna take the role of a side character from now on. But it is interesting that there is a bromance. I mean, there is kind of a romance he kind of has with Rey, but I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. And so I don't know how I feel though. I'm still kind of iffy on the fact of how yes, he grabbed the lightsaber and was cool, but I felt like he did last a little longer than he should have, considering he was fighting a Jedi Sith for a human.
He's also a stormtrooper though.
He's also a stormtrooper.
That is true.
Raised to kill from birth. That's one point that I think a lot of people are forgetting.
That is true.
I don't think he should have been able to fight a trained Force user, but I'm gonna make the assumption that Kylo Ren was not as trained as everybody.
Well, I'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
I think that's one of several factors.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna get rid of Finn or make him too much of a side character because they just got diversity.
Well, no,
honestly,
it's
can't
part
just get rid of it.
It's part of where I think he's going in the future. I think there's gonna be stuff with him and Phasma.
To boil it down, I don't even think Phasma's still alive. I think they wrote her off and she's just dead.
She shouldn't be though, because that was a character. I think all the side characters like that are gonna be brought up even more in the next ones.
But no. Well, the thing is, if you analyze this from just there was Luke, Han, and Leia. The leader, the scoundrel, and the heart. It's interesting because now we have Rey, Finn, and Poe, and it's the hero. Poe is the scoundrel, and I think Finn is the heart. He's going to be, he had his lowest point in this film, and I think now having this lowest point of him wanting to just leave and give up, he's going to be pivotal in the next two films to keep everybody together. I think he's going to become the kind of glue in the center of the group. That's going to be his main role. Yes, he's proficient in arms. He's proficient enough to stay alive, but he's not an accomplished pilot. He's not a Jedi. That's why I don't think he's also going to be a Force user. I think he's going to be just that normal guy who, it's like sidekicks for superheroes. They need people to tie them to the real world to keep them together and sane.
Sidekicks for superheroes.
Not sidekicks.
A whole other story.
Okay, friends of superheroes. It was touched on in Jessica Jones. It's why what's her face is so important.
I think I like it too because I guess
that's a whole other
conversation.
Yeah. I could get into that.
But I think I guess since he is a stormtrooper, he's not related to anybody. I think, as far as we know, I don't think he can be.
No, he
might be. But
he did have a family.
He has a family. So, any idea of who do you think he would be related to at all?
People want. Lando. To Lando, but I think that's bullshit. I want him.
The thing is, I can't think of anybody else he'd be related to. Honestly.
I want him to be related to the lowest. No, I want him to be related to nobody of importance. I want him to be that normal guy in extraordinary situations.
Yeah, because everything else is so focused on relationship. You need that balance there for that.
Yeah.
Why don't we ask Alex?
Yes, Alex.
On Finn?
Yeah, what do you think of Finn?
I had no problems with Finn. I think he was one of the characters I didn't have a whole spiel about. He was there at the right times. He always was his character was well thought out, and I think it had a motive and throughout the entire film, and I liked that. Some of the other characters I felt were it was just too spontaneous, and some of their actions that they did, and it just seemed a little off center. But I think Finn was a very, like you said, a glue. It was really nice in this film. Not necessarily he was one of the very important people that always took a stand and was he was there to do the right thing, and he pulled the lightsaber out and he fought Kylo Ren for a little bit to hold him off and stuff like that, and he did what he needed to do, and I think that was a really good thing, and I liked him as a character. I thought he played the I'm trying to keep this secret really well until that point when he had to be sincere, and when he did come out and be sincere, I believed it, and it was it seemed like it was genuine, and I liked that, and he played he played that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he did. All right, well, let's jump to the next person. I'll just go ahead and do it. Zoe's homegirl, Rey. I guess we can pretty assume the real hero of this entire thing of what it's going to be.
Probably all three movies.
Probably all three. She is the Luke Skywalker of this new trilogy.
So,
it seems that way. We'll see about that. So I guess we'll go around. Matt, what did you think of Rey as a character and her story?
I have a very probably unpopular opinion of Rey. I think she's the author's avatar. She's the one who ties everything neatly together, and I think she's a little bit of the term is Mary Sue, and it's
I kind of agree.
A completely overpowered character. That's not to say that she wasn't A, believable, B, likable, or C, I didn't root for her throughout every single time. But it's
definitely.
There were just sometimes
Absolutely.
like when she was getting her budding force powers.
Yes.
One of the main things that really hurt me, hurt my believability of it, was you hear Jedis are taken from a very, very young age and trained for years extensively before they can do anything. And she's using, now we don't know how tough it is to do, like, freeze the blaster bolt or force push or force jump, but she was able to access the force during a lightsaber fight and stay alive, not only stay alive, but beat the shit out of somebody who's been trained in the force for and years. In lightsabers for admittedly years.
By Luke Skywalker.
And by Luke Skywalker, as well as we don't know who Supreme Leader Snoke is, but I'm going to assume he is very, very important. And considering in some leaked stuff that I don't know if it's completely true or not, the idea is he might be Darth Plagueus that Darth Sidious learned under, which can make sense, but that's speculation.
Seems like where it's going.
That's speculation. But I think she just she picked things up a little too quickly. You can write it off as, yes, the Force was telling her, and it also boils down to how powerful she is in the Force. But, it's, to me, some of the stuff that she was doing, like learning how to do Force persuasion in 30
really
seconds was a little too much.
I feel like she was too quick.
A lot of people were pissed off about her flying the Millennium Falcon, but I will attribute that to the fact that the thing is, I think she was using the Force at that point, because she even says after they destroy the second TIE fighter that's after them, and they meet up in the Millennium Falcon, and they're in space, and she's like, I have no idea how I did that. And there's this whole, the music kind of fades out. There's this whole dramatic moment where she lines up the shot immediately, and then you realize she's a Force user later on. And I think, honestly, she just accessed whatever latent Force ability she had.
Wasn't too though, like, implied though, I thought that, like, since she was a scavenger and stuff, that she had been in a ship before, at least to know initially how it worked.
It's just a lot of the, without going back into more of her character and without having an entire TV series devoted to her life, a lot of it seemed like the author was just writing it off as she was a scavenger. Yeah. Let's just see that. But we're at 27 minutes now, so the video is going to cut out in a second.
So if you want to hear the rest of this podcast,
because we're probably going to talk for a while.
On this, because we're only on this. So if you want to watch it, check on the link in the description. We're going to cut it off right here. Thank you for watching, and if you want to keep listening, go to the SoundCloud in the description box below.
It's going to be good.
Cool.
Yep, for sure.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool.